quick update on the clean in place video. I got a message from, I think it was Two Little Tanks, something like that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Who said, oh, you can take those apart and clean them. Oh, which I really should have known, but didn't. Fortunately, they were clean as a whistle, but I think that's only because I'd been ramming pipe cleaners through and then stuck them in the ultrasonic bath. But yeah, very easy to dismantle. Just unscrews. How about that? Thank you, Two Little Tanks, I think it was. And we're back with another brew day, doing a bitter today, and I have just got to the stage of getting ready to sparge. So make sure all the taps are open, coming out of the HLT, through the pump, through the Hermes coil, out through here. But first we're going to give it a flush. Which pump are we on? That one, I think. I haven't put the sight glass on. You'll have to forgive me, no sight glass. We're going to wait for that to turn clear. There we go. That's clear. Clear in my book anyway. And we're now going to put the old spray ball on. Something I've noticed with its mash tun, I don't know whether it's because it's wider and whatever, and I haven't done a full kind of like stupidly strong, impy, stout type mash in this. But I haven't needed to use the Valentine arm on here. I'm not getting a stuck mash, which, start that going. Which is good news. So there we go. We'll get this transferred, start the boil, and then come back and talk about something else. The transfer is complete, and now I'm just recirculating it so we don't get any stratification. Basically mixing it up. I'm mixing it up so I can get a pre-boil gravity reading. Now for those, I just generally use this little Anton Parr Easy Dens, and the reason for that is I only need really a rough idea, and then post boil, when it's in the fermenter, just before I chuck the yeast in, I'll use one of the stupidly expensive Stevenson Reeves saccharometers, like a big expensive hydrometer, in a stupidly expensive glass jar as well. And I've never filmed that because I know as soon as I do, I'll break it. I'll either break the saccharometer or I'll break the jar. So I always do that very, very carefully and very, very slowly and very, very gingerly. The next job, when the boil started, and I've added the first hops, it's a lovely colour. Will be to dig this out. So I've been out and I bought a shovel, plastic shovel, because I was doing it by hand with one of those little scoops. It's a pain in the arse, and if I'm going to start doing some more stronger like impies and stuff like that, I ain't digging it all out by hand. I think that's probably mixed enough now. Can turn that off, bit of peace and bloody quiet. I'll wait for that to come up for the boil, and then we'll bung in the first hops, which are oh, hang on, no, that's the 30 minutes. That's not right. That's not right. 0 minutes. 60 minutes. 173 gram of progress. Let me just check on my. You just look at that while I check on here. 60 minutes progress. 170. Yeah, it's there. Right. Oh dear. Now the only problem with this, of course, was, as you can see in there, I didn't have enough progress pellets, so I've had to use leaf, which I don't like using, but they're in one of these, you know, Aldi or Lidl, I think that one is, bags. Yeah, and then so that's the 60 minute. Then there's a 30 minute 173 Bramling Cross. The date on here is wrong because I was going to do it on Monday. Today's Wednesday. You'll probably see this in July. And then the hop stand at 80 degrees is good old traditional 140 gram of Fuggles, 140 gram of East Kent Golding, and this is another tweak on the Barneys, ever evolving Barneys best bitter. Trying to find the perfect bitter to go in a can so that when you're out and you might want fish and chips, or it doesn't have to be fish and chips, just when you're out, you've got a can of a nice bitter. Now, I might also try putting some of this in a cask. I don't know yet. I need to consult Chris, Mr. Harry Brew 69, see what he thinks. He's always said, it's easy, do it. Yeah, well, pushing my experience envelope a little bit. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Yeah, I'll try at least one cask. I don't know who'd buy it. It's a different question altogether. Might see if Chris wants to buy it for the brew shed in Retford. Right, back to the boil. I think we're about 83. Where are we? 83.7. Look, no flickering, because I'm using Pro video mode on my phone, which I should have learnt about years ago. Yeah, I'm going to dig this out in a second. What was I going to do? I was going to check the pre-boil gravity. Such a lovely sight. We've got 15 minutes left. Well, 15 and a bit minutes left. So I'm going to put some yeast nutrient and a proto flock. Put my teeth in. Put your teeth in, Martin. Put your teeth in. Where was I? You know, this brew's turned out like every other brew, apart from the fact that I haven't buggered anything up. But every time I stop to do something, my phone rings. And I don't tend to have short phone calls. Anyway, where were we? Yes. Yeast nutrient and protoflock in. I'm now recirculating it, but instead of coming out of here and straight back through there, we're coming out of here, going through the pump, out the pump, into the little plate chiller. I still haven't found a need for using the huge plate chiller. The little one does just fine because I'm not in a hurry and it works. So I'm not running any cold water through it at the moment. I'm running the boiling wort through there to sanitize it. It has been cleaned. It was causticed flushed a few times, and then peracetic acid, and then flushed, and now it's being flushed with boiling water. That's it there. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I might have mentioned this before. That smell, that particular brewery smell, is something that I remember from being a child. And we lived sort of like between a couple of towns, and one of the main towns had a brewery and a glue works. And the glue works was where they boiled down dead horse bones and stuff to make glue. It smelled foul. And the brewery used to brew on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and then on Tuesday and Thursday the glue works would be boiling down the bones. On Monday, Wednesday and Friday the town was packed. On a Tuesday and a Thursday it was empty. In fact, a lot of the shops just didn't bother opening. That's how dire it was. So yeah, that smell and that beautiful warty, hoppy, lovely. I love it, absolutely love it. Anyway, I'm getting ready now. I shall start cooling this down after the boil's finished to about 80 degrees, and then I will chuck the final hops in. This new shovel has magical powers. Hasn't done it this time. Every time I grab this, phone rings. No, hasn't done it. That's good. We're done. This is down at about 80 degrees. Not bad going. Look at that. 87.89. 80. Close enough. So the final hops have gone in. The Fuggles and the East Kent Goldings. It's 280 grams, 140 of each, which is quite a lot. But I am going by the recommendation of a master brewer down in Lewis in East Sussex, one of our friends who has been mentoring me a little bit. I think that's what he said, something like that. Yeah, so going to give that half an hour, then we're going to do the transfer. And interestingly, I know people like these sort of silly statistics. When that transfer's done, it'll be the first time that all of these are full. I've done another ginger in there. This is a New England IPA, which is probably ready to be canned, I would think. Yeah, and then this Barney's going in there. So these two, I cleaned these out last time, as you remember, and especially for people who've been working with SS Tech for the last 200 years, I think it's easy to clean. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Won't be seeing any more comments of that nature. We are now sort of like operating kind of properly, which is nice. Cans are selling ridiculously well. So well, in fact, that running out of stock. I think there's only 3 different lots, 3 different brews on the website now, and it looks like one of those will be sold out soon. So I need to get this lot done, dusted and canned. But I'm tempted to do at least 1 cask, or double check how clean these are and do a couple of those plastic pins that I got from David ages ago, long time ago. So there we are, right, back when we're ready to pitch our yeast. I have just pitched the yeast. That's what that circle is. I don't know if you can spot the circle. Should come up on the camera okay. And all those bubbles are where I filled it, obviously through here. The new chimney is where I filled it through, and the only reason for that was to get a lot of aeration in the wort. So there we are, we've got 3 full fermenters, well 2 fermenters and 1 unitank. So next what I need to do is seal this up, put a blow off tube on, cap that off, put a blow off tube on, and then take Marley for a walk. Alright, done. That's got bubbles in for no other reason than I've just stuck some sarsan in and chucked it around, so it's not because it's fermenting. That one's nearly done, and this one's ready for canning. The only thing, I'll just bring up to speed now, a couple of my dilemmas. The only thing I'm not happy about with this unitank, this 1 barrel unitank, is the amount of condensation. You can see this slick across the floor, maybe you can't, because it hasn't got a neoprene jacket, and I've looked everywhere to find a neoprene jacket for these 1 barrel with the tri-clamp ports. I can't remember what they call it, Brewmaster, something like that. So I might end up sending a message to Andrew Lynch, who's a bit of an expert on these, and Kenny Grayley over in America, who's definitely an expert on SS Brewtech stuff, and see whether there's somewhere I can buy a neoprene jacket for this. Right, I think that'll do for now. Had a bit of a piss off earlier. I had two packages returned from the Royal Mail after I don't know what they'd managed to do, kick them around the postal sorting office by the look of it. If I remember, I'll put some photos up of the state in which they returned. And so what I'm having to do now is, hang on a minute, where did I put them? Oh, I think they might be out in the pile of recycling. So what I'm doing now is I'm sealing them in this, so even if they do manage to burst them, they won't cause too much damage, because there's a rather stroppy note in there from Royal Mail saying yes, you can send these via Royal Mail, but you need to pack them better. Well, fucking hell, I mean, I've packed them in proper, like, you know, really thick kind of boxes. Sod's law, one of them was for Al. He's been waiting long enough, but fuck it. Less than 24 hours. I think we can say that that's fermenting really nicely. I'm going to draw an end to this video now, otherwise I'll be here forever and you'll probably have aged significantly by the end of it. But quick update on the postal thing. I was a bit sort of just perplexed as to how 2 packages that I sent out in a batch on the same day both got damaged in what looked like pretty much the same way. Well, I found out today they didn't even get as far as being sorted. What I tend to do with those is I'll print out the labels and get Royal Mail to collect them, because they don't charge for collecting them, and it's easier than me taking 20 odd boxes to the post office. Well, I found out from the postman today what had actually happened, and what had actually happened, he said, oh, you mustn't tell anyone. So obviously I'm not. He said as we was unloading them from the back of the van, he said one of the forklifts, he said we put them on these trolleys, and one of the forklifts hit it, and then someone reversed, something like that. So it didn't even get as far as being sorted. So they were taken into the manager's office, put in the plastic bags, which is how we then got them sealed in this. Oh, sorry, your item was damaged. So they didn't even bother. It didn't even get sorted. So I don't know. So anyway, I've packaged those 2 out again. They went out again today. And there's I don't know what to do with regard to that. We've got the strongest boxes that we could find. So anyway, we'll see. we'll see. I haven't had any report. We have had ones in the past. One I sent to our Simon, that got a little bit battered, and one that I sent, I can't remember who it was, got battered as well. So out of all the ones we sent out, I suppose it's not a bad record, but yeah, I'd like to find a more reliable solution, so we shall see. Yeah, I haven't got around to canning the 2 lots that I wanted to can, so that's, I've sent some out to people who've been waiting anyway, and I'm going to pop something extra to compensate them for waiting around. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, seemed like I crammed a lot in, but don't seem to have done much. That's strange. Whatever you're doing, you do it carefully, look after yourself and look after those you care about. Until we do this again, oh, and subscribe if you haven't, and click the thumbs up. Nice one. Cheers.